who are you speaking to? I'm speaking to that. Is that Kimberly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kimberly.
I don't know, maybe it's Matt. Matt, is that you playing around in the kitchen?
Yeah, you can't wear a headset and think you can do the dishes at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm only worried. Gosh, that's awful. I can
outside now.
Other people that are trying to listen, other people trying to listen in on what our program's about and what we've got going on, but they're hearing dishes clank and water crushing and all the sounds going on. Folks, get with us and let's put it on mute, and then we'll work well. Okay?
So,
what happened?
Yeah. Issues for Mountain Express is talking highly, folks, in community journalism, and they have really done a nice job. We're really proud of them, and for putting a article with Ken Johnston here with us now, with our group, UFO Association, Alien Contact Org, and we've got Allied Command Organization. Now, he's one of 4 of the civilian astronaut consultant pilots from the Apollo Moon program, and he retired as an aerospace worker, and he also served in the U.S. Marines. So we're very thankful for his service. He's widely known for being a NASA whistleblower because Ken was a witness to NASA image manipulation. She saved and archived earlier when his boss told him to get rid of the files, and he was like, well, shouldn't we give these to some library or something? He's like, he didn't care what he did with them, basically. It's in his book, so we'd like you to read his book, but he has the Apollo era, and that's the one I was familiar with and around during that time. My husband worked at NASA, and he worked directly for Chris Kraft and ran the typing pool for NASA, not any contractor. So that was before NASA digitized and created everything on the online databases of images. So he kept a set for, I think he made a copy. So we'll talk to Ken about that because he is very well known with Gilliland, and Gilliland got him over to this famous meeting we had in Washington, and we'll let him talk about that. And he became a researcher and archivist. And Ken would sort of like to know, because you're going to be talking about this at the ALIEN XPO. Now, that's not EX, that's ALIEN Big XPO, okay? And we want Kimberly to get over there because she's up there closest. So hopefully in the future she'll be able to go and cover it live with our team at the ALIEN XPO. So we're really happy that they chose Ken as one of the main beginner speaker telephoners. Sorry, that's my dog now. I have company. I told them they birthday parties, folks, and now we're going to be a mother. But Ken, ALIEN XPO, I hope they pick you up. Are they going to have you picked up at the airport? Do you know anything? Give us an idea of what's going on, because you're all in this, trying to come on our show and represent us at this brand new ALIEN XPO. So tell us what you know, if anything. Are they going to pick you up?
Oh, absolutely. They've got a van and a driver that's going to be picking me up there at the airport in Knoxville, and I'll be taken to, well, let's see, I'm trying to read this schedule we've got here right now. Let's see, where do I line in? We're going to be kept at the Holiday Inn, and in fact, I think that's the same place that this conference is going to be at, a big event that they have going on there. The convention center, which is right next to it. So I've got tomorrow, this will be Friday evening, right after I get into Knoxville, which is going to be, I'm trying to find the time on this schedule here. It's kind of nice when you've got other people that are doing all the planning for you. You just have to be sure you're at your place at the right time. That's why I've got 5 sheets of paper that's telling me what I'm supposed to do, when and where. Anyway, hello, dog. We're going to be giving a pretty good kickoff on Friday evening, and then it'll be all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and with all the other qualified good speakers that have been involved in it. There's a lot of them that I've run into. One of the exciting things that I've found out is, when you get to start piecing together a little bit of the information from this speaker and the other speaker, you mentioned out that I was a whistleblower, and I used to detest the name when I was working for NASA, somebody being a whistleblower, and I didn't choose that name by any way, shape, or form. It's just that when we were phasing out the Apollo and the Skylab program, my director at the data and photo, well, I was the director of the data and photo control department, but my manager of the corporation, subcontractor to NASA, he came to me and says, we need to get rid of, I had 5 complete sets of all of the pictures, the negatives. These are of the original, the prints and the film, and all of the mission reports and every bit of that in filing cabinets, over in a dozen some odd different filing cabinets in this one room. And when somebody would need something or get a copy of photos of the lunar samples that they were going to do testing on, they would have to go through me, and I would see that they got what they needed. Well, when I was contacted, I was told to get rid of all of them except for one set. And I said, well, gosh, universities that are doing their own research, they'd love to have copies. And we argued for a good 30 minutes, and finally he said, I don't care what you do, just get rid of all but one set. I said, okay. So that one set stayed there, and one of the other sets went into Ken's archive, and I saved them. I mean, and that now my pictures and prints were made from the original negatives. And that's been a tremendous help to people who have been doing their own research. They were all eventually were digitized, and that helped. One of the things that you see when people are looking at some of the NASA pictures, they'll say they've seen something on it, and then I'll ask them, okay, do you see up in the upper right hand side of the print of the pictures with the label and the number that was given to that particular frame? And they say no. I said, then you guarantee you it has been doctored and messed with. And but all of mine have all the original codes and labels on them and everything that was put on the very first negatives that were brought back. And so some people try to say, well, you're going to get in trouble because you weren't supposed to say those. I said, well, I haven't sold them. I'm not, and I've used them for research, which is what I was qualified to do. So I don't think there's anything they can do to. And so basically, they backed off. There've been a couple of times I've been around the world in India and other places where I think they tried to get me bumped off, but I'm thankful that there are those out there that are looking out for me and keep it that way.
Wow.
So, go ahead. Yeah. But my stuff is original. It's not copies of copies of copies of copies, which gets to the point where you can't even see what a crater looks like on the backside of the moon. But on mine are the original first copy off of the negatives. So that's what Ken's archive is all about.
So Ken, you got to go to you got to go to the dark side, the other side?
Okay, now don't get whenever they classify us as the for civilian astronaut consultant pilots. By consultant pilots, we were the ones, the test pilots, that tested the spacecraft and things in the vacuum chambers. I've been up over 50 miles high, but I've never been in full Earth orbit or all the way to the moon. At least not in the public space program. Now, when we get on and start talking about the secret space program, then we can start talking about some other things. So there's some very interesting experiences that I've had outside of that. With that, I'll keep my mouth shut.
I would love to hear that.
For a little while. Okay. Well, TJ's been pumping me for all the information she can get. For how long, TJ, have we known each other? We ran into each other. Well, no, actually, we crossed paths all the way back in the 60s at NASA, but we didn't really know each other there. We just we went to the same conference meetings where we had all of the corporations and the astronauts and the debriefings that were being done of each mission. She was there and I was there, but I didn't realize that back then. But we came in contact, I think, about 6 years ago, when we were both at a conference. CJ, can you help me out there with where it was that we all ran into each other? It was I guess it was in Tennessee.
Yeah, one was in a movie when we went to see the movie.
Yeah.
2001: Space Odyssey, and then the next time physically that we can talk about writing books together was at the 2017 Mobile, Alabama, Mars. We were at USA, which was University of Southern Alabama, is where we met.
Right.
You know, in 2017. But you'd been on my show. You'd been on this show in the archives 2.5, 3 years before that. And it was when you were first. You didn't even have your book written yet, and everybody was wanting you to write your book. And nobody. Karen didn't have a book written, and Brett didn't, and Janet. All of them. Janet had one on Tantra, and her husband, but they came over and got my model. I invited them all to this club that you're in, the ACO Association and the UFO Association. So you and I had our first articles of incorporation, and we had our first meeting with all of them, and that was at Louis Reinhardt's house after we had the big, nice meal provided for us at his house. We had a nice, this was beautiful home, and he's a musician and quite a guy. And he put together for the Lunar and Mars Anomaly Conference, and that's when he was wanting to help Andrew Bashago run for president, and they had the votes.
Right.
And so that, folks, was May 9th and 10th, 2017, for the historical documentation. And in case Amad's still listening, Amad, are you still here? Did you even say hi to Ken?
I'm here.
Now,
no, I hadn't. Good evening, Ken.
Hey, good to hear you. We've been going mad the last couple of days. Yeah, mad. Anyway, to get things ready so I can get over to Tennessee and take off with what's going over there. Oh, my wife just handed me my airline ticket, a copy. It's amazing what you can do with computers nowadays. I didn't even have to go to the airport to get my ticket. I got it right here, and it's already valid. No, that's good.
Well, Kimberly doesn't know anything about you, I don't think, nor does she know you're the director of not only of our Allied Command Organization with the MAD painter, which is Thomas R. Becker, but professionally and legally, for the record, since I started off so terribly tonight because I was shifted off my platform. But Kimberly's only come on since I've lost my attention span with doing the shows properly and professionally. But they're still going up all over the world, even bigger than they ever were. But Ken, this is Ralph Kennedy Johnston Sr., who is our director of ACO Association with Thomas Reuben Becker. They are professionally known as the directors of several associations that we run with the American Communications Online publishing company for audio and video. And then I am the agent in charge of herding cats. I'm in charge with Kimberly. We're the ARO officers. We herd cats on Facebook.
Have you received any information of the estimate on how many listeners that you have on the various parts of the programs that you run? Any idea how many people might be listening in?
1 million or 2. Depends on where I go and get all the numbers. I have had to go around, and I was going around today to see who had the most hits. And, you get them and Rick Miller. I did look today. But see, the way that we've got it set up in the cyberspace is why we have the stats. A lot of people go after the numbers, and Amad and I have decided we're not going to do that, Ken. But we have to go around and look at every show we've ever made. It's just like any business, and then each one has numbers and stats and the reading audience and your demographics and who listens to us the most. But yes, every time you put up a website or a domain name, you can get all those numbers, as well as the main thing is Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. The big one is iHeart now, and the numbers are outrageous. I just am so delighted to be part of the iHeart family now. And it took us a long time to get there, folks. Not everybody just gets to be picked up. I have a lot of people that don't. So it just depends. We're not paying for that. I am paying to get my numbers and stuff and get produced from Spreaker, Ken. I'm going to pay $50 a month. Not that you would care, but The overhead is outrageous to get in because